Hello everyone! Welcome to another reading. Today I wanted to do a reading about leaders. I was talking to my sister about this one and I was asking her what do you think people will want to know about different leaders in K-pop? And first of all, I made a whole list of groups that I wanted to talk about and leaders that I wanted to talk about. Some of them are groups that I really like. And with others, I just kind of wanted to talk about the leader because I felt like it, even though the group is just kind of I know about them, but I don't really know the group. So here is the list. On the top, I wrote the groups that I was kind of I kind of wanted to do, and then I made a list of the group, who is a leader, and then in what age order they kind of are. And when I mean age order, I mean within their respective groups. And then on the side I just put the sign because I felt like it. And then I'm going to divide this into two videos. One is going to be half of them, which are, yeah. And then the second video will be the other half, which are most of them are from newer groups. And I did this random, so I thought it was very funny that some members were oh yeah, I'll go first, while others were ooh. And I think that's kind of interesting. Here I have the questions, and if you see this black scribble was because I wanted to talk about the leader in Blackpink, and then I realized that there's not an official leader in Blackpink, and if that's the case, well, I can't talk about them in this one. There's no leader, then how can I talk about the leader of a group that doesn't have a leader, right? Here are the questions. We're going to talk about the type of leader the person is within their group. Then we're going to talk about how the rest of the group sees them, of course, as a leader. And then the last question is, how does the individual feel about their role as a leader? So I'm going to have this with me so I don't forget what the questions are, because I know how I am. In the middle of my reading, I'm going to be what are we talking about? So yeah. So with that, we're going to start with the first person, which I don't know if you saw that well in the notebook that I was showing you, but we're going to start with Shownu from MONSTA X. Did I just say monster? MONSTA X. I had a whole system. Let's see if I remember it. We're going to start. Oh my goodness, I keep on hitting the microphone. Whoops. So we're going to start with what type of leader is he in MONSTA X? So we have right eye, wisdom. Should I be surprised? I don't think I'm surprised. Let's see. What type of leader is Shownu in MONSTA X? Oh goodness. Oh, I said I was gonna curse out whoever made me drop a card to the ground. Right now I am trapped. And the last card. Let's see. What type of leader is he in MONSTA X? Let's see. So, Shownu is a type of person that is very wise. He seems to be very, very grounded. He seems to be also someone that is very versatile. It feels like someone that is very open, very grounded, very rooted in who he is. So he has a very clear idea of who he is. And seems like he's a type of leader that is the initiator. To me, it feels like it's someone that takes the first step for the group. So be fearless and bold tells me that he's the one that tries things out first, so that he can clear out the path for other people to continue down that, those difficulties or stuff. Let's see. There's also this theme of red. So he's very, very rooted on the ground. So again, he feels very earthy. I know he's a Gemini, but he feels very earthy. He also feels very, I guess as the oldest, he feels like he's the wisest, or he's the one that has the most experience or the best way of communicating how things are done or how things should be done or how things usually happen. He has a very good insight on how things are. He seems to be a very passionate person, so he deeply cares about people. So he feels like the leader that just charges forward so like that he can come back and tell his group how things are and how things tend to be. So I think that's a very good quality within him, right? Very grounded, very stable. He's probably the one that centers everyone. By the way, I would like to introduce my friends. They're the Happy Tarot, and I will like to show you all how cute they are. But with these cards, we're going to ask the second question, which is how the rest of the group, how the rest of MONSTA X sees Shownu as their leader, right? So what do they think of him as a leader? We're going to take 3 cards. So it seems like the group sees him as someone that is very strong. Someone that they may see him as someone that may struggle a little bit to communicate what he thinks. This 4 of Swords tells me that even though he may tell everyone, like, you know, let's take things one step at a time, let's be calm, let's center ourselves, let's be focused, it also feels like he's the type that doesn't really follow that advice for himself. He may be the first one to step into danger almost. Leo also tells me that the whole group sees him as someone that is, outside from being very strong, outside from being very, in a way, I also feel balanced. It also feels like they see him as the type of leader that is very friendly to them, someone that is very generous to them. And it also feels like they see him as someone that is very grounded, even if they can tell and sense that there's a lot of thoughts going through his mind, so he's not calm. Usually the 4 of Swords is about someone that is meditating, someone that is trying to get their thoughts together, someone that's preparing for battle. And in this case, the fact that it's reversed tells me that many of them see him as someone that, even though he's very grounded and rooted and wise, he may have a lot of thoughts in his head that make him a little bit chaotic in that sense, right? Like, not that he physically is chaotic, but he's thinking of so much that he maybe stays too pensive sometimes. And to them, that could be like, ooh, he may be going through it, or maybe bird or something. Yeah, difficult for him. Let's put it that way. And then on the bottom we have the 7 of Cups, which tells me that they see him as a jack of all trades. So someone that may be very good at singing, dancing, or someone that is also a very good leader. So they see all of these parts of him, all of these traits of him that they really admire, they look up to. They can't pick what are all of these good qualities that he has. And it feels like they emotionally, deep down, or maybe they do tell him, I'm not sure, tell him how all of these good qualities that he has, which based on the energy that I feel for Shownu, it feels like he's someone that will probably easily get flustered and shy if you compliment him. So continue complimenting him. And with that, we're going to get to the last question, which is, how does the leader role... Hold up. How does Shownu feel about his leader role? You know, his role as a leader. How does he feel about that? We're going to take 1. I'll take the other one. It's okay. So it feels like for him, it's like a slow process. Let's see. How does Shownu feel as his role as a leader? So he feels like inexperienced. The deer tells me that he feels a little bit of inexperience. It may be because he finds it difficult to express how he feels. There's also this sense of feeling. The whale tells me that he takes things one step at a time. He seems to be like, not necessarily super afraid, like he's not terrified, but he seems to be afraid of like the big things in life that start coming their way. And as a leader, he's the one that gets hit first. So when new changes happen and they're going forward or whatever, he is the one that experiences the blow first, and that could be a bit difficult for him. He may fear it, or he may feel a little bit lonely that he is the one that has to encounter those problems first. You know, as a leader, he may not necessarily sacrifice himself, but he may see it like that sometimes. And then the deer spirit tells me that he is someone that feels a little bit, even though the group sees him as wise and he's a leader that is actually very wise, that doesn't mean that he sees himself as a very knowledgeable and wise person. So to him, as the leader, he feels inexperienced. He feels like he doesn't know enough. He feels, even though he feels grounded and connected to his emotions, it feels like it's sometimes very overwhelming to be a leader, and he doesn't know what to do, and he's sometimes in the dark. And even though he genuinely wants to be very good as a leader, it feels like he doesn't believe that he's doing a good job, even though he is. And lastly, we have Balsamic Moon, a time for healing. So that tells me that there's a lot of burdens that he has felt as a leader, and it has kind of gotten to him a little bit too much. So he may feel like he sometimes is not in par, or he doesn't have the skills or the personality to be a leader. So even though he's been in it for long enough, it seems like it has tired him out a lot. And this time of healing tells me that he has found it actually very, very difficult to do that. Like, it seems like there's a lot of difficulties and burdens and a lot of like hits and blows that he has to encounter first as a leader, and he puts himself out there first because that's the type of leader he is. He's someone that if there's something scary going on, he'll be the one jumping out and it's like, okay, I'll deal with this problem alone. Or he seems like to be the one that he wants to get rid of all the obstacles so the group can smoothly sail through anything. And it's a heavy toll on him, and it's not easy for him. And if anything, it's super, super, super difficult for him to, well, he feels like, yeah, it's difficult to be a leader, but for him, it feels like he's not doing a good job, or he feels he's inexperienced, he feels it's difficult, he feels like he's in the dark, not knowing where to go or what to do. But in reality, he is a type of leader that is actually very grounded, very wise, and fearless. He's able to just get things done, and the group seems to really, really appreciate that. And it seems like the group sees that strength he has, and is also able to see all of the versatility he has as well. So yeah, on to the next person. I hope you liked it. Wait, hold up. I hope you liked this video. Love and healing from my part to you, in case you don't watch the rest of the video. And with that, I'll go on to the next person. See you later. So let's see how S.Coups is as a leader for 17. So what type of leader is S.Coups? Now, I have to say one thing. The older leaders, like the leaders from older groups, actually took longer to just randomize into their spot. Because when I was picking like who I was going to do and what I was going to do, I just divided like the groups, like, okay, these ones are gonna be the half of them are gonna be in this video, and the other half is gonna be in this other video. And then it was like the battle and the struggle to pick an order within each group, because it was random and we used a die. And it was very funny because all of the leaders from younger groups came out first, so those are gonna be in the second video. And all of the leaders from the older group actually took a lot longer, especially the last two, which you'll see in a couple of minutes. So let's see. What type of leader is S.Coups? We have the Angel of Sky, so he seems to be very wise as well, very connected, very dreamy, idealistic. I'm not surprised Virgo came out. So we have the Koi Fish spirit, there is always enough, and we have Virgo. So to me, it feels like S.Coups is a type of leader that has very, very high expectations, very ambitious, and someone that aims very, very high in whatever it is that his group is doing, and of course with himself. Now, if it's correct, S.Coups has a rising in Virgo, and what that means is that what is like his instinct about doing anything, like his first instinct is that Virgo energy. So being self-critical, being of service of others, being very caring, grounded because it's Virgo. Also someone that is a workaholic, someone that loves to work a lot and likes to do a lot of healing work. So I guess that explains why he usually has talks with the whole group and is like, okay, everyone, it's time to say what you feel and how you're seeing things and all of that, right? The Angel of Sky tells me that he's very idealistic in the sense that he aims very, very high for whatever goals he sets for the group, or whatever views or whatever behavior he expects from the group. So he is someone that is constantly thinking of how they can improve themselves as a group. He's a type of leader that is always thinking, how can we be better? How can we get better connections? Get along even better? How can we unify the group more? So he's or how can I improve the living conditions of my group, or how can I negotiate with the company to get better treatment for the group, and so on and so on. And this Goi spirit tells me there is always enough, right? So that says that one of the things that S.Coups has as a leader is that he's constantly trying to satisfy the group he's in by trying to materialize all of the idealistic goals he has in mind. So if he wants like better this, better that, he does his best to materialize and bring more, and that satisfies very well whoever he's working with, because he's someone that not only it feels like he's kind of like a strict leader to his group, but it also feels that that's because that's how he is with himself. So he expects everyone to, in a way, work just as hard as he's working for the group. So it's kind of like, I know S.Coups was like, I want to be like a friend to the group. He has to keep in mind that as a leader, you can't really be a friend all the time. So this is how the second question is how the 17 see S.Coups as a leader, right? Like, what do they think of him, or as his leader role, not as a person necessarily, but as his role as a leader. Let's see, two more cards. You know how I should do the setup? There you go. Some of you are going to be like, what's the difference? You'll see in a bit. So how they seems like 17 sees S.Coups as in a very good light. So we have the Two of Cups. So in the way that it's depicted here with the Happy Tarot, is that they see him as someone that is very friendly, someone they can easily get along with, and someone that they can have fun with, someone that they can have a very strong connection with. Because we have two cups. We have Two of Cups and we have the 10 of Cups. So they feel genuinely very happy with him. They feel a strong emotional connection with him. They feel there's a unified, I guess, family-like feeling in the group that they're able to easily get along with. It feels like a pal, a friend, a partner, companion, that type of thing, right? Like, it feels like they're equals in a way. It feels like 17 gives and he gives back, so there's like a balance type of thing. You have the World reverse, so that tells me that they see him as someone that, because he's so idealistic as a leader, they may see that maybe the world is not fair to him, or 17 may feel like he aims so high for things to be done that they may not believe that those things can be accomplished, as well as sometimes the group feels that there might be a lot of disappointments for S.Coups as a leader, because it may be a little bit difficult to accomplish all of the dreams he sets for himself. But we also have the 10 of Cups, and the 10 of Cups tells me that they feel like a family. Because usually the 10 of Cups, that's how I see it, family, kids, right? You see the parents and then you see the little two kids. So they all feel like family. It feels like they can grow. It feels like grow together. It feels like they see him as someone that does his best to keep them together, to keep them unified. So it seems like the group is able to see how difficult it is for S.Coups as a leader to get all of his dreams achieved, but it also feels like they all see him, they all have like a very emotional or deep connection with him that they all truly appreciate and are grateful for. And they're also able to see that it's kind of difficult for S.Coups to achieve those dreams because they may be a little bit too idealistic. And with that, let's go on to the next question, which is, how does S.Coups feel about his role as the leader? So we have, nothing will come of the situation. Okay, why is that? Void, of course, moon. So let's see, how does S.Coups feel about his role as a leader? Is that 2 cards? Perfect. I was just gonna take one, but then with Shownu it was like, oh, take 2, and it's like, oh, okay, well, from now on I'm just gonna take 2. So with S.Coups, it kind of feels like he feels like he's just being himself, and that's not good enough as a leader. That's how he feels like. He feels like he's not doing enough for the team. He feels like he's not important. It feels like that's it. Remember, he is an idealistic leader in the sense that he has very high expectations for what he does, whatever goals he sets for the group and for himself. And because of that mentality, he has this feeling that he's not good enough. He has this feeling that his role as a leader he's not doing what he expects himself to do. He doesn't feel like he is accomplished. Is that the word I'm looking for? Like, it's kind of like, for S.Coups kind of feels like he is not doing a good job as a leader. He feels like not necessarily that he's not satisfied with being a leader or that he's actually not doing a good job. He just feels like it's not good enough. Again, it's that self-criticism that he has within him. We also have the Panther spirit that tells me that he may feel that he's too aggressive as a leader. He may feel that he's too out there doing a bunch of things I mentioned he's the one that he's always getting stuff for the group and for himself. So he, as a leader, he feels like he's too aggressive. He feels that even though he has good intentions, he has to just go for it and take things, whatever it is, fight for what he believes what they deserve and stuff. They being the group. Then we have the dragon. I do feel that S.Coups feels like he's a leader that has the ability to be a lot wiser and a lot stronger and a lot more knowledgeable, but he seems to feel like he hasn't necessarily gotten there yet. We only see the eye of the dragon, so we want to see the whole dragon. So he feels like he has power as a leader, and of course I feel that that's why he doesn't abuse that much, and because of that it helps the group see him in a good light. But it also feels like he hasn't woken up to his full potential yet, and he knows that he's not where he could be. Again, that idealistic mentality that he has, right? He could be like this as a leader, right? But he still hasn't reached that level, and he's kind of like in that fight, and that's why he feels like nothing is gonna come out of the situation, meaning that he doesn't feel like he's a good enough leader, even though, well, he is, and the group values his leadership, but he, S.Coups himself, doesn't really seem to notice that for himself, right? So yeah. With that, I'm going to go on to the next person. Thank you for watching, just in case you don't watch the rest of them. And with that, let's get on to the next person, which is going to be Solar from MAMAMOO. So let's see, what type of leader is she within her group? So we have Fright Leg Endurance. Let's see what else we got. So right away, I'm getting that she is a type of leader that is like the pillar of the group. So she's the one that tries to be the support that the group needs. She feels like she's the one that is always trying new things, or when the group is trying new things, she's the one that centers that energy. It feels like she is a type of leader that likes to just be there for the group. Endurance tells me that while the group is grinding to just get better, improve their skills, she's right there to, like, all the step of the way to be there for them. That endurance tells me that you see, it feels like this person is carrying like the whole world. Oh wait, I should probably, here, one card. I should probably put it closer so you guys can see it. So you see it a bit closer, you can see that it feels like this person is carrying the world on their shoulders and is swimming through all of this difficulty. So it tells me that Solar is a type of leader that will carry the whole world with, like, on her and with her if she has to. So she's a type of leader that will sacrifice everything for her group. She's a type of leader that will get things done and will be right there for them. She's like that crutch that you can hold on to when you can't walk well, and so on. Then we have the turkey spirit. So give with gratitude and grace. I do feel that she is a type that she will never forget a favor you do for her. So she's very, very grateful when people help her out, and she loves to help other people as well. And I think she's also someone that is very abundant, because we see how the turkey is very round, very happy, but it feels like to me that means that she is able to just get anything done. She's able to achieve anything, and I think that's because of that endurance that she has. She's able to just carry with her a lot of things that will be beneficial for other people. It could be experiences, it could be like material things, like let's say you're like, oh, I need this, and she's like, got this, or I know how to get you this other thing, like I know people, right? So she has connections, but it's a lot of burdens. I do think that she should be a little bit careful, because it seems like she's carrying a lot of baggage from other people and herself because of her role as a leader. She's a type that will give everything and anything to anyone that is in her group or in her that she cares about, of course. And if that's the case, it's going to be a little bit difficult for her to move forward in a way that's not painful, I guess. And here we have Uranus, which tells me that she is someone that likes to try new things. She's a type of leader that is not afraid to change her leadership up in a way that is beneficial for the group. She's the type of person that if anyone has ideas, she'll take them. She's very good at working with other people. This card also tells me that she's very good at pushing boundaries. And what I mean by that is that she's if someone tells them don't do this, she's very good at pushing those limits and eventually breaking free so the group can do whatever they want. And that tells me, and that kind of shows a little bit with MAMAMOO, right? Like you see them and you can tell that they do what they want because that's how they are. And if they have the type of leadership that will push and push and push so they can express themselves how they want to express themselves, get what they want to get, then she will work very hard to accomplish that. And if that's the case, it helps that the whole group is all the step of the way with her to continue pushing those boundaries and express themselves however they want to express themselves. And with that, we're gonna go with the second question, which is how does the rest of MAMAMOO see Solar as a leader? Those are 3 cards. Perfect. So right away with that 4 of Cups, it tells me that many of them see her as someone that gets easily distracted. It also tells me that they see her as someone that is able to get whatever she wants, but is kind of like always distracted looking at other things. It's kind of like someone that is that's deeply in their thoughts, someone that is always thinking. Duh, I just said deeply in their thoughts and always thinking. Well, of course, but it also feels like it is someone that maybe likes to sleep a lot, or it's someone that ignores how they feel usually. So there's a chance that the group is able to see or detect that Solar maybe rejects a little bit of how she feels or blocks that part of herself so like that she can continue going on with that burden of helping other people. And I think she's a type that doesn't mind sacrificing herself for her group, and because that's the type of leader she is. So it also it feels like she's a type that takes burdens on her own. This is kind of how it feels right now. Like I know that's not the case in this card, but it almost feels like the tree is like leaning on this little boy. So it kind of feels like Solar is the type of person that everyone can lean on and have someone to listen to them, someone that it will always be there for them. So they understand that it's quite difficult for her to move along when there's so many difficulties and heavy stuff always with her. But we have the 7 of Cups. That tells me that similarly to her first leader, the one that we did first, the group sees her as someone that is very, very versatile, someone that is very good. They look up to her. It feels like they seem to admire all the parts of herself. May it be her singing, may it be her beauty, may it be her way of living life. Like, they seem to all really admire her as a leader. They seem to really admire her hard work. They seem to notice that she has it difficult, but they appreciate a lot all of the things that she goes through. They appreciate her life lessons. Like, it seems like not only is Solar the type of leader that is very grateful, it seems like it reflects in her group, and they all seem to also be very grateful for the work that she does as a leader. And oh boy, the camera is still moving. And last, we have the Ace of Swords reverse, which tells me that the group also sees her as someone that is very... they see her as someone that doesn't really speak up about her issues. So I think that most of MAMAMOO, if not all three of them, see Solar as someone that finds it very difficult to express how she feels, and it seems like many of them can see that things are not easy for her, but she doesn't speak up about them. So it's kind of difficult to talk to her about those issues if she doesn't speak up about them. So I feel that they really, really admire, they really like her, and they really look up to her, but they also see her and know the difficulties that she's going through, or they can see that things are not easy for her, but it feels like many of them feel like it's kind of hard to talk to her and get that out of her. Like, okay, what is troubling you? What are you struggling with? So Solar is a type that does that for other people. So it may be difficult for her to have other people do that to her, which is, be of support. Seems like she's a type that doesn't really allow herself to be helped. She seems to be holding out on a lot. But then the last question is, how does she feel as her role as a leader? I'm over here like I'm trying to think how to word it. So we have expect powerful changes. So I think she feels like her role as a leader is a good opportunity to get things done. She feels like as a leader, she can make a difference. She can make things happen. She can make changes, because it feels like she's the one that is not afraid of initiating change. She's not afraid of being the first step to just create different things for the group. It feels like she's the type that just goes for it. And let's see, it is all about expression. It feels like we have the shark, which tells me that she's a type that even if it takes time, one step at a time or whatever, she will go for it. And she's very rooted and grounded in her emotions, but that doesn't mean that she's not struggling and having a difficult time. It just means that she knows how to work with her mess, I guess, or she kind of has come accustomed to dealing with her pain, I guess you could say, or that burden that I feel she's carrying with her. But then we have the peacock, so that tells me that she feels that she gets a lot of attention as a leader. She feels like it's kind of dangerous or difficult to be a leader, but she's not afraid of initiating changes. She's not afraid of going through difficult moments to get that change of self-expression. I think the peacock shows someone that is very confident, someone that likes to communicate how they truly feel, because we have green, blue, and yellow. Yellow, confidence; blue, communication; and green, the heart. So that tells me that she is someone that loves to have freedom of self-expression, and she's not afraid of going through difficult times to make that change and achieve that goal. And I feel that as a leader, she feels that she's very good at creating that change. She feels that as a leader, she has the skills and the ability and the position to make that change for her group, which is, she's a type of leader that loves to push boundaries to the very limit and even break those boundaries and allow people to just express how they truly feel, which I think is a very good quality as a leader. So with that, I think the biggest thing in MAMAMOO in general is that they're very honest, and that helps, right? That they're very honest. It helps that they're, the group is able to see the difficulty Solar is going through as a leader, and Solar appreciates it, but she focuses more as her, the power she has as a leader, which is create that change. So yeah, with that, I'm going to leave that there and go on to the last two people. The next leader that we have is Jihyo, which is from Twice. So let's see, what type of leader is Jihyo within her group? So yeah, let's see. I felt that one. I hope I didn't hurt the card. So we have Angel of Snow. So I'm getting right away, she's a very elegant leader. She may seem a little bit cold sometimes. And by cold, I mean that she seems to be a little bit distant to her group. We'll see in what way she's distant to the group. She seems to be very pure in the sense that whatever intentions she has for the group, she means it. It also feels like she's also very, very good at communicating, because we have all of the blue in the scarf and stuff. Oh goodness, we have Pluto. So that tells me that she's very, very good at transformations. Changes. She's very good at any change that the group may have. She's the type of leader that is constantly looking for change. Oh goodness. We have the Bobcat Spirit. I only wanted one card, and then 3 almost pop out, and I'm like, I just won 1. So I feel that Jihyo is a type of leader that understands that the mysteries in life, as you can see right here, or she's a very mysterious type of leader, you could put it that way as well. Because we have life is a mystery with a Bobcat Spirit, but we also have Pluto, which is it's the ruler of Scorpio, which is a lot of deep stuff. It's also a lot of secrecy and mystery and all of that. And then with the Angel of Snow, you see the eyes are covered, so it feels like you can't reach the window to the soul. Yeah, for a minute I was like, is it the other way around? Did I mess it up or something? But I guess not. So she's very good at communicating to her group. However, it may be a little bit difficult for the group to understand where she's coming from sometimes. It feels like she's a type of leader that is not afraid of transformation and death. Because usually the death card in tarot means transformation, and it's connected to Pluto. So connected to Scorpio. So right, I was like, let me correct myself right there. So it tells me that she's the type of person that is very attentive, very open. And when I mean open, I mean she is very alert, I guess you could say. She seems to be, open in the other sense as well, of being welcoming to transformations. Pluto is usually a very difficult planet, because it's all about transformations and legacies and stuff. So it feels like Jihyo is a type of leader that likes to make changes in the sense that it's going to help people, or it's going to benefit people. It's going to help them grow and become better. It's going to help in the long run. She seems to be very good at thinking about matters of in the long run, things that are very important, things that are beneficial to the individual as well as herself and to life in general. So she again, communication seems to be very big for her. Let's see, what other thing? I see yellow, so she seems to be a very confident leader, someone that works from the heart, yet it feels almost unreachable. It feels like even though she has very pure intentions and she wants to help people, it feels like the people she's helping or the group that she's in may find it very hard to connect with her. And when I mean group, I don't mean Twice. I mean in this case I do, right? In this case I do. So, I dropped the cards. So how does Twice see Jihyo as their leader, right? So let me rephrase the question well. So how does the rest of the group, in this case Twice, how do they see their leader as? No, how do they see? Well, whatever. I think you get what I mean. So we have the Ace of Cups. So right away have a very a very strong connection with her emotionally. Seems like there's like some sort of tension in Twice. I'm not too sure how to express it because it feels like they can't really. Seems like Jihyo is the type of leader that keeps out an eye and is very alert and vigilant about her group, but it also feels like people can't like reach her and like really see where she's coming from. There's a sense of mystery that people can't really figure out, and it's difficult for the group to understand her. And I feel that that's why the 3 cards that I was gonna pull out just dropped to the ground. That tells me that the group doesn't have like a clear aim, or doesn't have, there's a sense of confusion. There's no clarity, or there's no, it's not united or working together that well. Like I feel like there's something that is on the ground. Like I'm trying to think, why will the cards just fall on me like that, like all 3 of them? I guess there's a chance that Twice doesn't really express how they feel about their leader, and it's very clear that they probably don't even want to show it. It's like, that's why they fall. But the Ace of Cups is usually a good card. It tells me that emotionally they all feel very comfortable and very stable. I think Jihyo creates an environment that allows individual members to feel very good or feel comfortable with her. She's a type of comforting, motherly type of leader. So it's someone that is very caring. It's someone that is looking out for everyone's transformation and progress and improvement as people. But she also seems to be a type of leader that is very friendly, motherly, in the sense that she's nurturing. We have the Hangman reverse. So that tells me that they see Jihyo as someone that is kind of difficult to move her. I mean, if I'm correct, Jihyo is an Aquarius, so if she's an Aquarius, she's a very fit sign. So she's going to be very good at communicating how she feels. Well, not necessarily, because it's an air sign. So she's going to be very good at communicating whatever ideas and thought that she has. I say that as my throat was like closing up right now, which, I mean, could be because I've been recording for a while now, but it could also be that she has problems communicating how she feels, but she's very good at communicating her ideas and whatever work they're going to do and how things are going to get done. However, it feels like the group finds it a little bit difficult to put in their own ideas, or because Jihyo is an air sign, she's very fit, so whatever values she has in that she carries within her, it's kind of hard to move her out of that zone. So whatever she believes in, whatever she values, whatever she sees as a truth in her life, it's very hard to move her and shake her out of that mode. It's very difficult maybe for other members to, there might be clashing ideas between the members and Jihyo. And I'm not saying all of them, but enough of them. I mean, I guess it's kind of difficult when, I mean, Jihyo is like the middle of the bunch, so there's many members that are older than her, and then the other half is younger than her. So there's a chance that some of them are like, yeah, we're with you, we understand you, but the other of them are like, I don't, maybe kind of like confrontational sometimes, like, I don't care if you're the leader, I'm older, that kind of mentality, I guess. And we have the 9 of Pentacles reverse. I feel that many of them, so it feels kind of split, right? Like, it feels like on top you have some members that see her as very nurturing, very motherly, and because of that, they see it as good. While other of them see her motherly nurturing type of energy, which, I mean, it's Pluto, it's difficult, right? It's going to be polarizing a little bit. Some of them are going to be happy with that kind of feeling, but some of them are going to feel like it's getting on her way. Think about moms. Sometimes a mom wants to care so much for their kid that others feel nurtured and happy, they feel safe, they feel secure, they feel well taken care of, while others will feel that that energy is a bit restricting. And the 9 of Pentacles reverse tells me that many of them feel like they can't function on their own because of the the type of leadership that she has. It's like, it always has to be supervised by our leader, or it feels like they always have to do a good job, or it feels like they always have to work together when they want to be independent. So there's also a chance. So I'm not saying Jihyo's a bad leader. I'm just saying that it's polarizing for many people within her group. Some people see her good, while other people see her as a little bit too restricting or too hard to work with because of that fixed energy. But you have to keep in mind, ages are kind of important. If you're with someone that is older, they, especially in Korea, they might be like, you should be respecting me because we're like this gazillion years apart. Or this gazillion months apart. While other people are kind of like, I mean, I don't mind if you're the leader. You're doing your job well, and that's good. I'm not gonna shake it up for you just because I'm older. So I don't know. It feels like it's not that. There seems to be tensions in Twice, but what would I know, right? So how does Jihyo feel with her role as a leader? I feel like I'm finally getting the gist of like how I'm gonna word this. Okay. So it says new moon in Aquarius bring love into the situation. So that tells me that Jihyo feels like she should be more open to the group. She feels like she should be more nurturing and friendly to the group. This is Aquarius, so she is detached because she's an air sign. Air signs tend to be like that, like it's normal. I would know because I am an air sign. But Jihyo is also someone that feels like she needs to, her type of leadership is a type that is supposed to be very loving and caring. And other people may not see that as a leader, like they may see that as actually like weak for a leader, but for her that's the type of leadership she should have, even though or that's how she sees herself, or she feels like that's how a leader should be. But in reality, she's a type of leader that if she has to tell you the hard cold truth, she's going to tell you the hardship. She's gonna be very honest, I feel. And we have the Vulture. So the Vulture tells me that she sees herself as someone that has to pick up the scraps, has to pick up the slack. She feels like the type of leader that has to deal with the difficulties. Whatever the group leaves behind, she has to deal with it, good or bad. She has to take care of all of that. And then we also have the Crow. So she also feels like she's very knowledgeable. She feels she's very good at communicating. There's a lot of air. So she feels like she's very good at communicating. She feels like she has a very good idea of what a leader is or what a leader should be like. Very humanitarian, so she's very giving to other people. This Crow tells me that she is very good at protecting the group from difficulties. She feels like as a leader she's doing a very good job at doing that. She's very good at going through the difficult depths of life and shielding the group from any difficulties. So, as a leader, I think she's doing a very good job, but it seems like there's tensions in the group, which could be because she's the middle one. So age gaps and everything may get in the way with her position, right? Some other people are going to be like, I'm the leader, I should be the leader, but, there's a bigger half that really likes the type of leadership Jihyo has. But with that, I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to go on to the next person, and thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Finally going on to Irene, our last person of this video. So the first question is, what type of leader is Irene within Red Velvet? Now, I am feeling a little bit more comfortable that I'm doing the leader of a group that I am a bit more familiar with. With a group that I'm a bit more familiar with. That card fell and I had to pick it up. It was a struggle. There you go. So what type of leader is Irene within the group? Put that bad boy out. So let's see. Oh wow. So we have Take the Lead, Stag Spirit, we have Angel of Divination, and Cancer. So the type of leader that that Cancer is, bro. So Cancer is a cardinal sign, so that is a sign that is ready to take charge if needed. So to me, Irene feels like the type of leader that is very nurturing as well, very friendly, friendly is not necessarily the word I was looking for. I was looking for like motherly. So I guess it shows, right, when she feeds the members, when she's like covering the members up, or like when she I'm thinking of that one View Live where Wendy and Yeti were like arguing or whatever, and they looked like two little kids arguing, and then Irene kind of just, she did the mama voice, the voice that is like, continue arguing and you'll see, you're going to feel my wrath. That's kind of what it felt like. And Irene has a soft voice, so she didn't scream at them, but it was said in such a way that they both knew, oh, we have to shut up, or we're not gonna hear the end of it, right? Which to me tells me like she has that mother, not necessarily nurturing and motherly in the way that is she does have it. Let's just keep it that way. She has those things like, let me feed my kids, let me take care of them. Oh, they're fighting again, they're going to hear from me. That type of energy, right? And the Angel of Divination tells me that she's a type of leader that is very good at I was going to say foreshadowing, but that's not the word I'm looking for. I was going to say that she's very good at seeing into the future. And what I mean by that in this case is that she's very good at saying, oh, these two are about to fight, had to step in. Or she's very good at being like, we're going to get in trouble for this. It feels like she's very good at protecting her group because she can see further along. Or she already knows the rules very well. Or it feels like the divination card is telling me that she's very good at balancing everyone and everything. She's also very good at maintaining order. That's kind of what I'm feeling. She's always in her head thinking of how to improve the group. And this tag spirit tells me that she's a very good leader in the sense that she's able to take charge, move forward. So she is able to put herself out there and get the work done. And that Cancer energy tells me that the type of leader that she is not necessarily emotional, because Cancer is not that from the water signs, even though many people consider Cancer as a crybaby. They're not. Well, it depends. If you have a moon in Cancer, maybe you will be a crybaby. But if you are a sun sign in Cancer, you will definitely not. You will care a lot about your family. Or it feels like, I know that Red Velvet says that they're not a family in anything, but it feels like to me that they try to maintain the group as a family, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that, like, maintaining that is kind of like understanding that fights happen, so it's okay, heal that, move on, take care of each other. So, it kind of feels like Red Velvet is filled with members that are very nurturing and motherly, and Irene is a type of leader that really appreciates that she's a type of, we should all get along, we should all love each other, we should all take care of each other. She's a type of leader that wants to maintain that peace because she feels very happy with a group that gets along, and she's a type of leader that wants to maintain that type of dynamic and environment where everyone gets along, playful, childlike, but where everyone can express how they feel very openly. Like, she seems like that's the type of leader that values that. And if I'm correct, Irene was, I think Red Velvet was the group as well, that they will sit and talk for 5 minutes, or I guess as long as they need it, but minimum 5 minutes to just express how is everyone feeling, what does everyone think, and with that they do a lot of healing, and everyone is on the same page in a way because everyone was able to express how they felt about each other, about the situation, or whatever. But now we're going to go on to the next question, which is, how does the rest of the group, in this case Red Velvet, see Irene as their leader? So let's see, how does Red Velvet see Irene as their leader, right? As her role as a leader. Oh wow, a bunch of swords. So we have the 10 of Swords reverse, which has very good. We have the 5 of Swords reverse, which is actually pretty good as well. And then we have the Knight of Swords reversed. So you may think, is it bad that they're all reversed? And I will usually say yes, it is super bad. But based on the cards that we got, it's actually pretty good. So they see Irene as the type of leader that, let's see. Communication is big. So it seems like communication is a big thing within the group. Like mentioning, like make sure that everyone gets along, make sure that everyone knows what's going on, making sure that everyone is on the same page, make sure that everyone is constantly communicating with each other, right? It feels like that is very important in the group, and they all value that type of environment that Irene has created. It feels like many of them are able to talk about their difficulties with each other. That 11 of I just said 11. Oh, bro. The 10 of Swords usually means someone that is overthinking so much that it is kind of like killing them. As you see, all the swords are stabbed into this little person. It's so cute. I love this deck. It's so cute. But the fact that it's reversed tells me that many of the members feel like even if they're overthinking things, they can talk about it, or they can let go a little bit of it because they have the group. Like, it feels like if they're going through a period where it's very difficult and maybe they don't want to talk about it with a group, at least they can distract themselves and not think about that situation because Irene has made an environment where they can do that, right? This is purely professional. Let's just get our work done. And of course, that doesn't mean that they don't get along. That doesn't mean that they can't talk about their issues, but that means that the members don't feel obligated to talk about how hard things may be for each other. And if that's the case, it creates an environment where everyone can not necessarily, distract, but also let go of whatever their personal life is like and just concentrate on work. That doesn't mean that it doesn't affect their work. It just means that they're able to detach a little bit from whatever issues they may have. So whatever they're overthinking, they seem to be very grateful that Irene has created an environment where they don't feel obligated to talk about their issues. And then we have the 5 of Swords reversed. So that tells me that many of them don't feel conflict, or don't feel like just because they're talking about things and maybe they have arguments, they all understand that there's no issue. Like, it had to go out that way and that's how it had to be communicated. Well, let it be it. I do feel that the 5 of Swords usually to me feels kind of like a warning, a cautious warning of like, be careful. Just because you won the battle does not mean you won the war. So with it being reversed, it tells me that many of them don't feel like they have to be cautious. It feels like if they had a fight or an argument, they can let it go and move on. And because of that, it creates a safe environment in a way. Like, everyone is free to talk to each other and they're not afraid of getting into arguments or fights because they know that sometimes that's just how things work out. You clash with someone and it's better to let everything go. It's better to just say how you feel and what you think, and it's better for the other person to do the same. So like that, there's no resentment or grudges held behind. You can just let all of it go. So there's no need to be cautious in that sense. You can just, like, it feels like with Red Velvet, they appreciate that Irene has created an environment where they can all express themselves however they want. And since they're in a professional environment and not like a family, like, they don't feel the pressure of we have to get along. It's more like we get along because we do, not because we have to. And the last card that we have is the Knight of Swords reversed. So that tells me that they see Irene as some, not necessarily, it's weird because usually that card means someone that is reckless, but at the same time I'm getting that she's not. So the way that I see it is that many of them see her as someone that just takes action, but she's also very cautious. So she is reckless, but she's not necessarily moving so fast that it can damage her as a leader, right? Like, she gets things like Irene is always taking the lead because that's the type of leader that she is, but even though she's constantly moving, it's not fast enough that her recklessness could be detrimental to her as a leader. Like, they see her as leading as someone that is always doing things, trying to figure things out, Irene feels like they see her as someone that is constantly testing the waters to make sure everyone's safe, to make sure the environment is safe, but she's not usually this card is like, be careful, beware, don't be too reckless, that da 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 da. But to me, it feels like even though they see her as a leader that is constantly moving forward, constantly going through changes, goes with the flow of things, but is able to still protect them. Like, she's not going so fast that it's like, okay, calm your horses, be careful, you're doing things a little bit too dangerous, watch out. It feels like they all really appreciate the environment Irene has created for them. So then the last question we have is, how does Irene feel as a leader? As her role, her role as a leader. So we have full moon, surrender to the divine. And let's see, 2 cards. We have the Beaver. And we have the Eagle. So she feels very good as a leader, but at the same time, it's not super easy. So with the surrender to the divine, it feels like she feels like there's many times that she just has to trust that she's doing the right thing. It feels like there's many times that she feels like as a leader, there's many times that you have to intuitively guide yourself through life, and that means that go by feeling, go by emotion, go by intuition. So sometimes you have that gut feeling that you're like, oh, things are not right, and you kind of like step back, or ooh, I think this person took it the wrong way, maybe let me push the group away from this person. So it feels like Irene is very good at protecting, and she feels that her role as a leader is that sometimes you just have to trust that what you're doing is the right thing. And it also feels like she's a type of leader that is like, sometimes you have to go with your gut feeling, right? And then we have air and water. So water, air, just saying. But the Beaver tells me that she's the type of person that likes to create a safe environment for the group, right? Because beavers build dams. Is that what they're called? So they can continue building their homes, but the water's on the other side. However, if there's a lot of emotions, or the water is building up on the other side, the dam breaks. So to me, it feels like she's the type of person that is very hardworking. As a leader, she feels that she's the one that is supposed to create a safe environment for the group, and she's doing that because that's how the group feels about her. And it feels like if emotions just start flowing in and it's crazy, the type of leader that she is, she's gonna let it happen. She's gonna be like, okay, I did my best to protect the group. I did my best to create a safe environment. But if we have to talk about how we feel, or we have to, to fight it out because our emotions are clashing, she allows it. And it's healthy to fight once. Okay, not fight as in like, let me punch you. It's healthy to have discussions, and it's okay to not agree with each other. And I think that it's a good thing that Red Velvet is very good at just saying, okay, so how do you feel? Just tell me already. What's your problem, right? And that kind of thing. So lastly, we have the Eagle. So that tells me that the type of leader she feels like is that as someone that takes the lead, she feels like she's a type of leader that is able to just get those opportunities very quickly. She is a type of leader that just goes ka-chow and gets the prey. She seems to feel like as a leader, she's supposed to be the one that has to take the first step. She is the one that has to seek out those opportunities. She is the one. She feels like as a leader, she needs to always have a strong face, put up a front, or always be like show no fear, be the alpha male. Like, that's the type of thing, right? Like, it feels like that's the type of feeling she gets from being a leader, right? Her role is of someone that has to be these things, and it feels like she's doing a good job, right? Like, Cancer always has like that outer shell, which is that's how she feels a leader should be, someone that is always taking the initiative, which she feels that that's what a leader should be doing, and creating a safe environment, which goes well with the type of leader she is. So I do feel that out of everyone, it kind of matches a little bit more, and surrender to the divine. So it feels like Irene knows very well the type of leader she is, because that's what she's doing. So it mirrors very well. So whatever she feels a leader should do, she is that, if that makes sense. So yeah, with that, I'll go. Oh, here, those 2 thumbs up. Anyway, I'll leave that there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was entertaining, and love and healing from my part to you, and see you on the next one. Bye.